It always comes to this. More nice shit. There guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I probably showed off session 18 on the chest. Yeah, we're getting into some pretty high numbers on the chest, but we're starting to get into some pretty high numbers on the left sleeve, sorry, right sleeve as well. I'll be starting the left sleeve soon, but more about that in another video. So obviously my chest healed up, and I've had 2 sessions since that video. Just haven't gotten around to doing another video yet. Obviously, well, for those paying close attention, you'll see that I've had the second pass on the roses now, so they're quite a bit brighter. Obviously they look, you know, more or less white depending on the area. The one in my ditch was always the brightest, so it's not really a surprise that that's like super white. I've been talking about trying to figure out a way to separate the thorns from the roses. You know, I've got them up on my neck too, so if we do anything with them on my arm, we'll have to do something with them on my neck as well. I like the way they look. Like I really like that one's very white though. The issue with them being super bright is I'm trying to separate them from the roses. So say I want the roses to be brighter than the thorns, so that the thorns are like farther back than the roses, kind of thing. Right now they're sort of similar pitch. Obviously right now with the roses being fairly fresh, they're going to be a bit brighter. I'm going to have to see how this plays out. They might be the right value now. Right now the roses are quite a bit whiter than the thorns, so that might be good enough. But if not, I was talking with Kevin about this, Kevin being the co-host of Remy Reacts. We were talking about either maybe doing an opaque gray or light brown. Light brown was my suggestion. Not enough that I really want the thorns to turn brown on black. It's more just about tinting them, getting them away from the gray or silver that they are now. But I don't know if I want brown on my neck too, right? So since I have this running theme of the thorns, I'd be carrying it onto my neck as well, and I'm not really sure I want that. Rick figured we should do earth green, a really muted green tone. But then again, I don't really know how much green I want either. Like, it wouldn't come across as like super green. It would come across more like just kind of I think earth green would give them a bit of a brown coloring too, but more of a yellow brown. We did a bit of earth green in here, but I believe we've lightened it already with other colors, so it's hard to really show off what that would look like. I think we tried it in my armpit too, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, I'm planning on leaving the thorns the way they are for now. I've got a few more sessions to do before I make a decision on that. I knew that the thorns would be the last thing that was done anyway, just because they're kind of like the accent, or they're just background elements to help the roses stand out and show up more. So I figured I would leave those till I was fully done. We did all 3 roses. It only took around 3.5 hours, believe it or not. Because as I've said and explained many times, there's quite a bit more black in here than it looks like. The white again shows up so well because of the black. So now these are about 4 months now since we've touched them. All of this stuff is aging really well. The white being second pass all over, but it's all standing out quite clearly because of the black that's in there too. But once the black's in, you don't really need to do the black again. There are a few spots we're going to come back and hit the black, but that'll be like a general touch-up. Once this white settles, which it mostly has, this is 2 days in now, it's not going to get a lot darker than this,
But once this is done, we're going to do one more pass. And again, this was planned from the start. We're going to do it on the hand rows too. We're going to do one more pass over the white. Not all of it though, just the high points. So in, for example, these real white parts, we're going to come back in and run again. So that'll be third pass. And they're going to be as close to paper towel white as you can get. Again, it'll never be quite as bright as negative space would have been, but it'll be brighter in a way, different. White on black doesn't create the same brightness that negative space would if you had the choice. But it gets a full saturation brightness. It's still very, very bright. It's just a different thing. So I expect these to be looking quite a bit like these, and they're not really going to age. So none of this stuff has gone down a shade. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to wake up a year from now and all of a sudden it's all going to be gone all at once. Few things to say about the red on black. This stuff up here is staying really, really red. The stuff in my armpit is about the reddest it is, but it's all pretty red up here. That's got that kind of purpley red. Down on my lower arm, the red didn't take as well as the upper arm. Obviously, it should go without saying that we're going to do another pass, or at least a touch-up. There's some spots that are still healing that have that kind of that light there. That's healing tissue. That's not actually the color that's going to be. You'll notice this if you've ever had blackout work done. The skin over top, or really any tattoo work, but the skin over top, if it's damaged, it will have this kind of a shine to it. When that heals, it won't be that color. It'll most likely be a really dark red or like purpley like the stuff around it. But yeah, I've got some streaks here that will need to be done again, smoothed out, but they won't stay like this. This stuff will mellow out. It's just shiny from the healing. You can see it when I close up. That's all just damaged tissue. Now, the wrist didn't take as well, but my wrist has been severely overworked in the past, and so it wasn't really a big surprise that we didn't get a fully clean, smooth, red on black arm the first go. Now that being said, it's pretty goddamn close, but there are some trouble spots. But if you'll recall, I planned from the beginning to do 10 sessions with this sleeve. We've now done 7. All the white is second pass in the roses. Next thing we're going to be doing is coming up. It'll probably be a short session. We're going to be smoothing out the parts that aren't as red on my upper arm, and we're going to connect this spot here. We didn't do in here last time because we had healing red on black here, healing red on black over here, so we didn't really want to connect everything up. But now it's time to do that, so we're gonna get that red bridged in there. That's coming up this week, and we're gonna be just smoothing out the parts of red in here that didn't saturate quite as well. There's some spots in here that you can see, and I'm showing this stuff in full disclosure. If anyone thought this was going to be perfect, it wasn't me. I didn't think that. So there's some spots in here that you can see when I put it real close that have a streak of like black, but that'll go really easy. When you do the second pass, full saturation, you don't have to work the tissue as hard because most of that color is already there. It's just not fully saturated. So you'll hear me say on Remy Reacts quite often, you're going to need to skim the surface. So that's not a full second pass. That's kind of like a revitalization or like going back in to do the finishing touches. I don't think it needs a full re-go. It's just smoothing out the trouble areas. So that's light work. I think that's only going to be a 2-hour session or something. It's going to be real quick. Then the week after that, if I'm ready, I think I will be, we'll be doing the second pass on the lower arm. And that'll be a bit more work, but again, nothing too crazy because it's just more of a purple color down here, so we need more red in the balance. But it is kind of a cool look. It goes from red and it darkens as you travel down. And so somehow we did, like, I wasn't actually sure we would keep a lot of the red on the hand, but we kept quite a bit of what we put in there. We just lost some of it. So, and again, the red was never there to be super red. It was just there to break apart the roses from the background. So it did its job. It's just the bottom of my arm didn't saturate as easily as the top. So what was odd to me still is that the inside of this armpit here was the best. So I don't know what that's about, but maybe we just got lucky. And again, some things you can't understand. Like, I would have never expected this ditch rose to be as bright as it is. I would have expected the outer bicep to go the easiest, but I guess I've got pretty thick, like, scarring in my outer bicep anyway, so. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this project's coming along. It's coming along quick. This arm looked done the last time I worked on it, but it's not done to my standard. It needs to be smoothed out. There's some ironing out to do. 10 sessions for completion, and then whatever else I do after that will be extras. So in saying that, that doesn't mean that I'll only ever work on this 3 more times. I've already thought about, you know, doing a few other things to it in the future. It just means that 10 sessions is what it will take to complete this sleeve, for, like, to make it done. Now remember, this wasn't long ago that this was a full black arm, so if you're thinking that these streaks here are that big a deal, check in with me in a few weeks. They won't be there anymore. I think I should have earned that trust by now. And given that we're doing something that most people would have told you and still will believe is impossible, I think we should get a little bit of a pass on having some streakiness in a full red out sleeve, or at least partially red out sleeve. That a lot of people are going to tell you that this video is edited, or that we did laser first, or some bullshit like that. Nah, I'm standing here at the end of a long day of work with just regular ass lighting and an iPhone camera. This is as real as it gets, and it's only getting better from here. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.